Scottish Cup is of paramount importance now. Miller. And John Collins fancied himself on the volley then. It was by no means an easy ball to hit, but he's very gifted on his left side.
Yeah, he's got so much quality in him, Martin. I'm not surprised that he does take it on the volley. If there's anyone on the Celtic side that should take that left-footed, it would be John Collins. I think we all remember the magnificent volley he scored to win the game, the first league game of the season at Tannadice, a 4-3 spectacular. That, another magnificent left-foot volley.
Here's Patalainen, now Jackson. Yes, Collins in the picture again, and Liam Brady certainly came here and looked at the statistics which showed that John Collins only scored once last season. He's got 8 this time. But here's Craney allowed to line it up. And, well, Van der Kamp took up a good position, but one suspects that Craney didn't hit it as well as he would have liked.
No, he didn't, but I'll tell you something. The two centre-backs have got to get their act together for Dundee United. Gerry Craney given lots of space, hits it into the ground a little bit. Guido van der Kamp's got a good position. That's another miss from Gerry Craney.
2 in the opening 8 minutes. So Celtic, true to their traditions, take the game to Dundee United here at Celtic Park. Ferguson turning smoothly again, turning into trouble that time. Back on the ball, Bowman helping him out. Malpass. Here's Cullen, another of the youngsters, John O'Neill, outside him. And they've worked it quite well between them. Van der Hoorn. Patalainen will challenge for everything in the air and may be able to knock the ball across the face of Celtic coming in from the United left. Cosmopolitan clientele in Scotland. And Darren Jackson, who, as I said at the outset, is one player that Celtic are just a bit wary of, and you can understand why here.
Brilliant piece of skill as he comes inside the defender. Just tries to go narrow side, tries to go for Gordon Marshall's near post, which I think he's good position, the goalkeeper. That's a great shot of it. It would have been a very, very accurate shot to have beaten him that side. I'd like to see him come across the goalkeeper.
Craney, and it was Collins coming through the centre. Celtic, in fact, have had 5 successive shutouts. Gordon Marshall, who came into the side in November to replace Pat Bonner, and has kept his place since then. Van der Kamp just backing off to make sure there was space between him and John Clark. Patalainen. Well, Gillespie, who seemed to have got the ball cleanly enough. Certainly the fans beneath us in what is known here as the jungle wouldn't have called that as a foul, but referee Williamson has done. But it's a stray one from Clark. He's gone into the centre. And Collins defending well from midfield, but Celtic making rather a meal initially of getting the ball away, but when they sorted it out, they've got it to Miller, which is part of the plan. As you can see, it deflects off Bowman, and Van der Kamp is diving to try and prevent the corner, which he couldn't do.
And all that because little John Collins did magnificently well at the other end of the pitch to win a great tackle against little John O'Neill.
Derek White going up. Gary Gillespie is staying back because Mike Galloway has picked up an injury, which I think Celtic would like to attend to before the corner is taken. And he's behind Gillespie at the moment, not really wanting the ball then. Over Craney. Patalainen hasn't cleared it. Back from Coyne, only onto the head of Bowman. It's another corner for Celtic. Celtic, who went down to a shock defeat in the semi-final replay. A fantastic match against Motherwell last April, and they were favourites to win yet another Scottish Cup. Now, who's going to fight for this one? And it drops for Bowman. Miller. And again, Collins going to the near post. Craney trying to find a position on the far side. Oh, well, it would have been an own goal, and Guido van der Kamp performed miracles then.
That is a magnificent save. As it comes over, the problem, Jerry Craney causes the problem by going up, hits little John O'Neill on the thigh. Then Guido van der Kamp amazingly tips it onto the bar, comes back off the bar and grasps it. What a let-off for United.
Well, Celtic are smiling, but they're not yet scoring, but they're certainly looking like it. Oh, and McStay really wrapped his right foot around that. Here's Jackson. Fine play from him. Here's John O'Neill, who was let off the most embarrassing moment. Ooh, offside, not Miller here. Ferguson. Well, that's the sort of thing you talk about afterwards when you get away with it. Offside, and it certainly put the likes of Malpass and McInally into that category as well.
The type of players you need at Celtic Park in a cup tie. People who are going to graft and work really hard for you, because you know you're going to be under pressure for an awful lot of the game.
And you know you've got to take your chances when they come, and one almost materialising for United after Ferguson had made the running. Jackson, corner to Jim McLean's team.
This turning into what could be quite a classic. I'll tell you, Martin, if we get a goal soon, this could be a real epic cup tie. Celtic pressing all the time, United relying on good, quick, crisp counter-attacks.
Van der Horn. Now Clout. 5 in the centre. McInally makes 6. Celtic having to do a bit of chasing this time. And Malpass getting it over the top. Kept in by Cleland. He's got another chance to cross. Ferguson, who is a fearsome opponent when the ball is in the air in the penalty area, but Cleland just couldn't quite get the elevation then to find the number 10. Bowman's throw. Well, he's certainly tenacious, Dave Bowman. Football very much in his blood. Famous father, who was actually working in England when Dave was born down in Kent. But I don't think he counts himself as English.
Plays his cards right, he's got a chance for the Republic of Ireland, the way things are going in international football these days.
Target, but into the midriff of a busy Guido van der Kamp.
Well, it's the front two that combine again very, very well. Powerful run from Jerry Craney, but credit to Freddie van der Horn. Just as enough not to allow him a clean shot. His goalkeeper would have been delighted to have seen that.
Well, cup tie, which we're bringing you live on Sky Sports, and it's certainly panning out that way. Van der Horn. This is where Celtic want to give a bit of depth to their defending, but the ball's run out in any case. What they don't want to do, and is push up too tight and let this fellow get away behind them.
Well, that's right, and I think when you're pressing as much as Celtic have done in the first half of this first half, then you can tend to get carried away a little bit. That's when people like Gary Gillespie, with all his experience, will be thinking, OK, we're attacking, but I'm just going to keep my eye on their front two, especially Darren Jackson. If we come too far up the park, there's an awful lot of grass behind us for him to run into.
Tommy Craig was scouting Dundee United when they played at Tynecastle against Hearts, lost 1-0 on Saturday. This is awkward for Van der Hoorn, with Craney breathing fire behind him. Galloway. Craney can wear a smile of satisfaction, but a terrible mistake by Van der Kamp, who started the game so spectacularly.
Ball is very greasy. I suppose it's inevitable that if anyone was going to open the scoring, it would be Jerry Craney. That's a bread and butter catch. That Craney and Coyne both go in, but full marks to Jerry Craney, went in with real determination. Watch this, goes in, that's mine. I want to score a goal, and bundles it over the line.
Well, a hat-trick in the third round and the first goal in the fourth. Certainly on the cards, but the manner of it distressing for Dundee United. The linesman is flagging and the referee has stopped the game.
We've got a goal and we got one, but you have to feel for the goalkeeper. Started very confidently. That's bread and butter for him. Look, not a Celtic player in sight as he goes to catch it. Full marks to Jerry Craney. Wasn't standing around watching, was he? Went in and attacked the ball.
His biggest problem was to get there in front of Tommy Coyne, I think, to make sure that the goal was his. But it clearly was. To Linen. 1-1, the response is quick from Dundee United. Mixel Patalainen spun and shot and scored.
This is great finishing, Martin. He's got very little to aim at. Duncan Ferguson in the early part, he's always posed a problem for Gary Gillespie. Does again. Jim McInally's following up, bobbles about a lot. Look at that. That's a striker who knows where the goal is. Just watch it. He's got his back to the goal, hasn't looked up. He knows where he is. Gordon Marshall has absolutely no chance. That's a super finish. Said we might get a game if we could get a goal.
Here comes O'Neill on the burst. 1-1. We've not yet had half an hour. It's McStay, and in the end, Celtic's attempt to hit back straight away foiled. Well, their run of games without conceding a goal, 5 of them prior to tonight, has ended. And Patalainen might just find better opportunities to get regular goals coming from the left-hand side, where he's not always playing with his back to goal. And now Clark and Cleland and Van der Hoorn being down by Celtic. It was Clark really who started the problems. Now he's got to try and clear it ultimately, or at least tidy it up.
Brilliant hustling from Celtic though, Martin. Spotted that Dundee United were trying to pass it around the back, and 4 players just immediately descended on Freddie Van der Hoorn.
Here's Ferguson, very involved in the equaliser, as was the former Celt Jim McInally. McInally's opportunities as a Celtic player were very limited, but he once played in a 4th round cup tie for Celtic. And we have to go back exactly 9 years for that. Not really known for his time here. Played in England, of course, with Nottingham Forest and Coventry.
Jim McInally, Martin, one of those players who doesn't command an awful lot of headlines in the press and places like that, but you can guarantee he's a real player's player. You ask any Dundee United player who they would put in their team first, I bet you a lot of them would have Jim McInally in it.
Ferguson won it. It's Bowman arriving this time. Van der Horn trying to get it over the top into the run of Darren Jackson. Well, it's already a match of many chances. A goal apiece. Here's Miller. Oh, and Paul McStay, whose contractual position with Celtic is still making headlines in Scotland. Nothing signed and sealed yet. Here's Malpass. John O'Neill who crosses. And Celtic will be concerned. Patalainen with a header. But United got ahead to that cross. It was a fairly straightforward one, but Patalainen made it his. And fortunately for the home side, it flew comfortably for Marshall. Celtic still working hard when the ball is in the Dundee United half to try and get possession. There's an offside here, which gives us an opportunity to hear for the first time during the match from our touchline reporter, David Livingston. David, what have you got to tell us?
Martin, on the United bench, there's been a period of frantic activity in keeping with the match. Of course, after that goal, you get the feeling that number 2, Paul Sturrock, actually felt that they'd got out of jail, and he's determined that they don't make the same mistake again. He's been furious with his back four. He realises... I'll let you take it out, Martin.
I'll let you finish the point now, David. Well, we'll hear more from David, I'm sure, later. Here's Gillespie. Made off well by Craney. It's Coyne.
I think Duncan Ferguson and Mixu Patalainen have certainly won most of the balls, and it was an area that Paul Elliott pointed out in the preview that he felt that Celtic might be suffering a little bit. He certainly showed that so far.
Well, Ferguson is not just an aerial player, as you can see. He's got a deft touch when the ball's on the ground. He's prepared to take it on the chest and screen it and bring others into the move. And Jim McLean really is something of a coaching conjurer. He does pull rabbits from a hat. There he is, behind the glasses and on the walkie-talkie. Morris. Miller crowded out again. Oh, is it Miller? Is a corner. Well, we've seen some chaos in United's defending, and more of it here.
Well, it's almost suicide, isn't it? What a great save from Guido van der Kamp. Not once, but twice there.
Yes, it was John Collins who was following up. And then Joe Miller who had the shot that was turned aside for the corner. Here's McStay. Now O'Neill. Brian O'Neill again. Celtic sensing a second, and enough concern there that Malpass and Van der Horn went for the same ball. Morris clipping it in. Coyne with the dummy. And the flag is up. Ferguson and Jackson with Patalainen lending support. Here's Malpass. Clark. O'Neill and Cleland a little over-ambitious, really, in trying to keep the ball in. On one occasion, there really wasn't a pass on to Jackson. He certainly didn't expect one. Here's Derek White. It's a lovely ball for Craney. Well, when it comes to John Collins on his left foot, anything is possible.
Yes, I always felt last season the one thing that was missing from his game was goals. Scored 8 already this season, and this is why. He's now getting himself into those positions, and he ain't half prepared to have a pot at goal.
Determine that. He's found it hard biting back the comments from the touchline. He's just recently been fined by the Scottish Football Association for being out of order in regards to a referee earlier in the season. I won't ask Andy Gray to comment on that. Patalainen. 2 back for United. Clark couldn't get to it. There's no offside this time. And Tommy Coyne racing away. He's going for goal himself, as he was entitled to do, because Van der Kamp actually left a pretty big gap on that far side that Coyne was trying to find. Here's Morris. And Stay turned a little too swiftly for his own control. Welland showing just how beleaguered, really, Dundee United are feeling at times.
Yeah, Alec Cleland totally committed there. Good to see the referee, Martin, not taking his book out, just having a little word. Just saying, just cool it down, young man.
Galloway to take the free kick. Celtic looking to regain the lead, to re-establish the advantage that they certainly feel should be theirs. Galloway, plenty of options for him, but in front of Dundee United. This is Miller. He's a bit too strong back towards Galloway, and Ferguson leaping in, actually came off McInally. There was a bit more aggression and purpose about the way Dundee United went hunting the ball then, and in the end they got this free kick. Sorry, Andy.
No, I was just about to remark on that little piece when Tommy Coyne broke away a few minutes ago, Martin, and just what wonderful defensive work from both Freddie van der Hearn and Dave Bowman. Didn't give it up at all.
Jackson! Another little aerial victory for Ferguson. And Jackson wasted no time in getting in his shot.
Great leap, causing him a problem every time, Martin. That one can go anywhere. If you miss-hit it, it's in the corner. Darren Jackson hit it too well.
Here's Patalainen. McInally trying to come through the crowd. Collins, oh, they can't give him that much time, can they? And Clark in the end. Well, Dundee United will be wanting to hear the half-time whistle and get off at 1-1. There's still a minute to go. The corner works short, but not to any great purpose that time by Celtic. Jackson's played a wayward one, though. Kept in by Miller. It's Collins in the thick of things. And he came in well between the two central strikers then to give Dundee United a problem. Gillespie. And Neil stopped by his namesake.
Time they broke up the park.
But no time added on. Jerry Craney took one of a number of Celtic chances, several of which fell to him. But Mixu Patalainen popped up with a very precise finish to keep Dundee United just about survived. At half-time at Parkhead, it's Celtic 1, Dundee United 1. Is at half-time. One nice touch as the players went off at the end of the first half. The crowd applauded the referee, Hugh Williamson, who certainly played a major part in helping the game flow. And a very well-balanced game it is in terms of the scoreline. If the first half, in terms of possession of the ball, was tilted very much Celtic's way. Patalainen equalising the opening goal from Craney. Celtic, who've been in 46 finals of the Scottish Cup, they've won it 29 times. Ferguson, for once, in his controls, typically steered back by Gary Gillespie, who has turned defending into something of an art form. Patalainen's header. Andy Gray, your first thoughts about the way you think the second half might go?
Well, I'm just hoping, for a spectator's point of view and for all of us, that we get more of the same, Martin. You do feel, if you were Liam Brady, you didn't really want half-time to come, did you? You felt they were so much on top, they were dominating United for so long that you felt if it carried on that another goal was a certainty. For Dundee United, they would be pleased to get in. Jim McLean would be delighted to tinker with these players, maybe adjust things a little bit tactically, which is what we'll look for early on. But I certainly think it will be more of the same. Celtic pushing forward, United looking to counter-attack.
As they're doing here. Ferguson and McInally and Jackson playing a part in getting the ball out to John O'Neill, who ended up with a mouth full of grass.
It was in an area which spelt danger to Celtic in this game. Anything going high into the box, United have looked favourites.
John Clark calling for the ball. Well, certainly with Patalainen as well, and Clark and Ferguson, it's very difficult for Celtic to take complete control. But here's Morris looking to regain the initiative. Played wide by O'Neill. Miller thinking about the cross, then delivering it. Jackson. Celtic were defending on the line right on the halfway mark then. Away cleanly by Freddie van der Hoorn. Gillespie as Celtic start again. Well, you can hear what the crowd thought of that, and Gillespie apologising to Galloway, who clearly expected a ball played further forward. Dundee United, who made such progress over the last 20 years, made their name in Europe, of course, got to the final of the UEFA Cup, lost narrowly over the two legs to Gothenburg in '87. Getting to finals doesn't seem to be too much of a problem for them. Winning them is another matter altogether.
In front of the goal like that, Celtic immediately see that happening, are throwing men forward to put them under pressure, trying to win the ball as far forward as possible.
Patalainen helping Malpass out. Offside. I was going to mention about Maurice Malpass. Away from football, he's something of an academic. He's got a degree in electronic engineering. Would only be useful tonight if the floodlights failed. Here's Patalainen. The outlet for Dundee United on the left. Cross not quite deep enough for Ferguson. Here comes Malpass. And on he goes. Well, he's just taken it too far. 5 minutes at the start of the second half. It's the most likely scenario. And Ray McKinnon, another off the Tannadice production line, who's being watched in the past by First Division clubs in England. McKinnon comes on for O'Neill. Coyne. Just ran away from Patalainen. Miller. Oh, and Craney coming in. It was awkward for John Clark, but he managed to stick out a foot. Terrifying for defenders in those situations with own goals looming.
Needed a calm head, this did. Hate this defenders, facing their own goal, 6 yards out, nasty bouncing ball. Dealt with it very, very well.
Oh, Bowman didn't get it very far. Well, they look for offside, and they've got it. Jerry Craney reacted very quickly. Bowman didn't clear his lines. The ball was driven back.
I'd like to see this again, Mark. My first reaction was it's a goal. They don't quite get out in time. Watch when he strikes the ball. There. That's not offside. You see it? Far side. Jim McInally, top of the picture. Didn't get out in time. Person you've got to watch. There he is, left of the picture. Jim McInally doesn't get out far enough, Martin. He was the one on the post. He didn't get out. Jerry Craney scores a legitimate goal. Celtic should be 2-1 up.
This is a foul by Malpass, and a pretty cynical one.
Yeah, I don't think Maurice Malpass can have any argument. I think he's signalled to the referee it's his first tackle. But the referee has been very, very good tonight.
Miller leaves it. Morris takes. It was headed back across by Gary Gillespie. Galloway. All hands to the pump for Dundee United. It's offside. You can hardly hear the whistle. The din that the crowd are making.
Doubly difficult tonight when you look at the pace that the game has been played at. Very difficult to come on, try to get in, pick up the pace of the game. That's what he's going to find hard, you know, in his first 10 or 15 minutes.
Ferguson trying to buy Dundee United some time. Celtic not having that. They've fallen offside again. 6,000. Firmly believing that Celtic should be in front. Patalainen, Ferguson prepared to work back for it. Galloway. Collins on the ball. Coyne cutting in from the left-hand side ahead of him. And stay. That's a cultured approach. And they're trying to keep tight and give double cover on Joe Miller. Patalainen playing a big part in that respect. Well, that was a close one, simply because of whether Jackson started inside his own half. So O'Neill in the thick of things there. They've got it to Miller. Still, Celtic looking for it, and Tommy Coyne. Miller tries again. And he skipped past Patalainen this time. Not an easy thing to do. They really are being besieged at the moment. Jim McLean's team. Jim McLean, who's become synonymous with the city of Dundee. More than 20 years. Chairman, managing director, manager, as they used to say about Dundee, and probably still do say. The city of jute, of jam, and Jim McLean. It's coming from all quarters towards Van der Kamp's goal. And nearly into his goal.
He's thinking in there.
They're hanging by a slender thread, Dundee United at the moment. And the goalkeeper who fumbled so drastically to allow Craney the only Celtic goal so far, made sure it wasn't the same mistake twice.
What Dundee United have got to do is try and get hold of the ball. I mean, every time they get it, they're almost giving it away immediately. They really have to get some respite from this onslaught. The only way they can do that is get the ball, put a few passes together.
Well, Van der Kamp, who clearly pulled up in pain, having caught the corner. And prior to that, of course, he'd made this save.
Yeah, I think just as he caught the corner, Martin, I think as he's come down, he's obviously just gone over on his left ankle.
To get up to date with David Livingston.
Martin, you see Liam Brady on the phone there to Tommy Craig up in the stand. He's been looking fairly calm, Liam Brady, but clearly the adrenaline's pumping. Every time the ball comes out of play on this side, he's running out, trying to keep the momentum going. He can't believe it. The last miss there, it went over the bar. He turned around, shook his head. What do we have to do to get a goal here? And he wants that momentum kept going. And clearly, he's driving them on in that way.
I think what also Tommy, his number 2 will be saying to him from Tommy Craig from upstairs is that if Celtic get it in the kind of position they're in now, but that mid-half is that switcher play is on from both sides, Martin. United are defending very narrow, but with a lot of numbers. And if Celtic just look up, they get it wide one side. If they look to switch it to the other side, there is acres of space for them to work the ball forward into.
1-1. Clark keeps it at that. Dundee United with a holding operation going on here in very difficult circumstances. Celtic playing with plenty of class. Coyne wants to set up someone else. The linesman's got his flag up. Oh, John Collins at first sight didn't look too far forward.
No, he didn't.
By Coyne, Craney. Patalainen should be able to send Dundee United out of their own half. It's a fine run by Ferguson. And Gary Gillespie took matters into his own hands then.
I don't think Gary Gillespie believed for 1 minute he can get away with that. You see his left arm just tugging back Duncan Ferguson's left arm. He's a very, very fortunate man to get away with just a ticking off there.
He ran across his heels as well. So it's a free kick to Dundee United. They've soaked up so much pressure, and now have an opportunity to go in front. McKinnon, and it was a fine try too from the substitute.
Well, it took me by surprise. I certainly didn't expect Ray McKinnon to hit that, but he hit it very, very well. I'm sure Gordon Marshall's expecting that to be across the tall attackers that Dundee United had. Ray McKinnon looking for the element of surprise and almost getting it.
As Van der Horn was lurking as though the ball was going to be knocked off to him. He's still waiting on the edge of the area, as was Jim McAnally. Patalainen with those broad shoulders, looking perhaps for a throw towards Duncan Ferguson. And he's found it. And Ferguson obliged with a flick as well. And this time Celtic win an offside decision with 11 apiece. Patalainen powering on. Well, Celtic finding that you just can't attack for the entire game. There have to be moments when you draw breath. And at the moment, Dundee United responding to a bit of respite. McKinnon. And the crowd don't want Celtic to be caught up in this area of the pitch. As time ticks away, we're more than three-quarters of the way through this game. Of course, if it was level tonight, there would be a replay at Tannadice.
But this is exactly what United have needed to do, Martin. For the first time this half, they've been able to keep Celtic under a little bit of pressure themselves. And I'll tell you what, their back four of Dundee United will be mighty glad of that.
Well, it's Gary Gillespie who's been taken off, and Steve Fulton, a midfield player for a defender.
Which does suggest that possibly Celtic going to play three at the back now, Martin, marking Dundee United's two, and push Steve Fulton wide on the left. Because, as I mentioned earlier, I think there are big spaces on both sides for switch of play if Celtic want to do that with the ball.
And one thing we talked about earlier, John Collins
Actually looks, Martin, at first glance as if... Just thinking about the Celtic substitution, Martin, I do feel that Gary Gillespie must have picked up an injury. Remember the run he had with Duncan Ferguson and when he looked very, very laboured.
Jackson was coming in with McStay. Offside. Headed out by McAnally, steered forward by Ferguson. Jackson still looking for maybe one chance or a run to settle it Dundee United's way. Fulton and well, it didn't come off for Derek White. Collins. Well, in a perverse sort of way, that might suit Celtic. They might find a little bit more space if Dundee United start to push forward with more numbers. They were just sitting back and defending the penalty area before. It was... he's taking it to Celtic. And he's got a corner. That was excellent play.
Brilliant play if you're away from home in a place like this, Martin, and you're up against it. That's superb play from this young player. Drives Mike Galloway into the corner and gets a corner. That's respite for his team. Jim McLean, his manager, will be absolutely delighted with that piece of play from the striker.
And he'll be delighted because it's a chance to attack across, which Ray McKinnon will deliver at the set play. Goes towards Ferguson, but he can't get up with Marshall.
I think they expect Darren Jackson to take full advantage of the defensive changes that Celtic have had to make in that left-back position, and they're probably hoping that John Collins' attacking qualities might take him up the field and leave Darren Jackson free on that wide right wing.
Here's Patalainen on the United left. Ferguson. Well, it looked a long, dark tunnel for Dundee United, but they're starting to see a bit of light at the end of it.
They stuck at it though, Martin. Through everything, all the pressure they were under, especially first half and at the beginning of the second half, they have stuck at it very, very well. Celtic beginning to look just a fraction frustrated.
Coyne going to the near post, Craney coming in behind him. Fulton is there. Here's Chris Morris. Butted out by Clark. Collins. Ferguson trying to hold him up. Stay taking over. Can he find one of his pinpoint passes? Morris has done very well for Celtic here. Run to the head of Clark. Morris is onside. It's a corner. Charlie Nicholas tries to turn the tie back Celtic's way. Had a splendid first half to the season, has had injuries since then. Dundee United pushing out and crowding out Charlie's attempts to get into the game quickly.
Certainly the stage is set for him, isn't it?
This is Miller. Fulton coming in on his weaker foot. O'Neill. Oh, there's no offside given this time. Cut back from behind the line by Coyne. Ray McKinnon. And he's not giving it up. What's Marshall doing out here? Bowman. Claims by Dundee United for handball, and then they concentrated on the possession that they still had. Celtic break. They're flooding forward in support of Joe Miller. And yet again, Dundee United come up with a defensive answer. It was Brian O'Neill's header. And really, it might have carried a bit more weight than it finally did.
I think what the young man will find that he's had more time than he realised there. When the ball went for a throw, and United just went to sleep. Obviously, very, very tired legs amongst the United players. They've had to work very, very hard to stem the tide that Celtic have thrown towards them for the majority of the game. Now they'll be thinking to themselves in the United dugout, "God, you've got to concentrate, lads. You've got to concentrate for the last few minutes of this game."
Steered away by the emergency. Here's Bowman, breathing hard, but with the satisfaction of still being in the contest. Ferguson, Jackson, this is Malpass. This kick by Miller. Van der Horn in the right position again. The most knowledgeable defender. Here's Nicholas. Coyne! At last for Celtic. And Tommy Coyne has done it against the club that let him go. Just over 5 minutes left.
And just at the time you thought United had done enough, they've relaxed for a minute. Joe Miller again, Martin, the man who's looked to provide all the ammunition there's been tonight. Tommy Coyne pulls brilliantly away from the defenders and just guides a header. There's no power in it. Look at the goalkeeper, totally wrong-footed.
Just collapsed backwards over his own line, knowing that he could get nowhere near the header. On comes the Argentinian international, Victor Ferreira, to try and rescue it for Dundee United. Well, no one can dispute the justice of Celtic leading. And if you're going to get in front, I suppose it's not a bad time to do it. But they were beginning to run out of belief, perhaps. Marshall, no position in the centre here, and Joe Miller will be looking for him again. Here's McStay. Oh, there's two over on the far post. Bowman's lost his bearings. Celtic have the ball. Fulton finding one defender too many. Here's Collins. Celtic looking like scoring again here. The feeling amidst the Dundee United ranks.
This
really
is good
devastation
play.
now.
This is good play, Martin. Sensible play. Keeping the ball from United. They keep the ball. There's no way Dundee United can score. Simple.
Offside.
Good play.
Well, it's a happy scoreline for Celtic, but it's been a long, long time coming. Ferguson was pushing in then. He's very little at half-time. Let's have a look at the watch. A throw to Dundee United. The last throw, perhaps.
Oh, it's a case of get it in there, isn't it?
Down to the wire. Celtic are the first club to reach the last 8 of the Tennant Scottish Cup, and Tommy Coyne has made it possible. With a winner just over 5 minutes from time in a match that Celtic dominated for Liam Brady, but the manager, the fans and the players were beginning to worry and beginning to wonder whether they were going to run out of time. They scored first through Jerry Craney, Mixu Palainen equalising for Dundee United. Quickly after that, a crucial moment it seemed early in the second half when Craney had what looked like a perfectly good goal disallowed contentiously for offside, but it came right in the end. Deep disappointment for Dundee United. The rest of their season lacks a focal point, but not so for Celtic, whose recent record in this competition is exceptional. They are into the quarter-finals for the 9th time in 10 years. 2-1 the score. And certainly a goal that Celtic supporters will want to see again. Precious this for Tommy Coyne.
Yeah, it's brilliant the way he's pulled behind Alec Cleland there, Martin. Real striker in form, real striker in the know. Here he is, you just see him making his way there. Look, he's got the flight of the ball. That's what's so good about that goal. He picks up the flight of the ball earlier than any of the United defenders. Guido van der Kamp knows